A lot of people work to live. I live to work.
Yeah, essentially.
Didn't even get to cross.
Okay. Welcome to the Pull the Trigger podcast. Pull the fucking Trigger podcast.
I like it.
This podcast is going to be about making moves. It's going to be about accomplishing goals. It's going to be about going after what you want in life, whether that be real estate goals, whether that be goals in business, whether that be goals in your personal life. Doesn't matter. Scott and I have actually gone through quite a bit, and we have a very similar. I guess our story isn't really similar, but it's on the same
path.
It's on the same path. We've kind of Scott started a little bit later. I got into a little bit earlier, but we feel the same. Like Scott and I share a lot of the same ideas,
yeah.
mentalities, all that type of stuff. So let's have Scott explain even why you can justify listening to Scott. Like for real, because I think that's important.
Well, no,
right?
I think everybody's got something to say, but I think my path is like Dan said. I'm on the trajectory that Dan's already on, but I started later, so I can resonate with people that are at a point in their lives where they're just not pulling the trigger. They have the idea, they want to get somewhere, but they're not making the moves necessary to do it. And I can relate to that because that was me for a decade, right? I was in a job that I hated. I spoke for 10 years about trying to get out, but I never did anything about it, right? I had these ideas of investing in real estate. I watched YouTube videos. I read books on how to do it, but I never actually made any moves. And then at some point, I just hit this wall where I was like, I can't live this life anymore. I got to start basically pulling the trigger. And I just started making moves. And after doing that, I realized that the only true way to actually learn how to do anything is not from a book or a YouTube video or whatever. You actually have to go out and do it. So I wish I would have learned this earlier. I wish somebody would have said, hey, stop freaking reading books, stop watching YouTube videos, go buy a freaking piece of real estate, go get your real estate license, go do what you're talking about doing. So when I look at you as somebody that never really had that stumbling block that I had. It seems like you just did stuff.
So,
right?
Okay, so this is what I can say. In the beginning, before I started all this, I was buying books, and I was not really a lot of them, but I was trying to find,
The secret formula.
Yeah, I was trying to find this formula because there's so much information out there about
unlimited.
Hey, this works and this is what you need to do, and no, I'm the guru here and this is what I need to do. No, this is how you make the most money. This is a strategy that you need to use.
It can pull you in 20 different directions, which makes you not really do anything.
One of the things I think is a little bit interesting is when I started, in 2008, there wasn't that many YouTubers, and there wasn't that many coaches with not that it wasn't so prominent as it is now.
It's exploded.
Yeah, so I wasn't getting so much shit that people get nowadays. I think the difference is I guess early on realized that these guys aren't going to help me. They're out for themselves, and they're out for actually literally selling courses and all that stuff, and that's it. There's no secret here.
Yeah. And ultimately, they can't come and hold your hand and make you do anything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can get really trapped in this endless cycle of learning and analyzing and watching videos and reading books and trying to find that magic secret.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: if you want to get good at business, how do you get good at business?
You have to do it.
You freaking do it.
So even with regards to my education, if you want to call it that, I went through some business. I went through business, and I went through accounting and finance, and then I was like, okay, well, that didn't work out. I started with engineering, and then I went to the business side of things, and then I even went to business management. Had a couple courses in business management, and they're great and everything, but what I find is they're great if you want to I guess, work for someone else.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Because what they do is, like, for example, Clark, he has an MBA. And his MBA doesn't teach anything about how to start
a business.
Yeah, it's very different. Like, he'll even say it, like, his education is for when he walks into an organization and
bank,
improve it.
Credit union,
Yeah,
or like
and improve it.
Yeah.
Not what do you need to do to get it started.
Yeah. You're not going to be the businessman. You're going to be the guy working for the businessman in general. I think the education system in general is designed to create employees, not entrepreneurs.
I would agree.
100%.
Now, here's the thing, too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people will think what I do is outrageous because, you know, even last night, I was up till 3:30 working, right? A lot of people don't want to do that. It was Friday night.
Understandable.
It was Friday night.
For sure.
Nobody wants to do that. But, and I have zero work-life balance. Like, zero. Like, it's legit. Like, you know, I don't have a life. Like, a lot of people work to live. I live to work.
Yeah, essentially.
Right. Yeah. So, but I don't mind it. I like it. This is what I signed up for, and this is my gig. So I don't mind it. But let's talk about your story and why this is relevant, like ultra relevant to a podcast like this.
Well, I changed my life, right? I was in that job that I didn't like. I started going down this path of buying real estate and getting my real estate license. So now I'm an investor-focused real estate agent. I help a lot of clients that are where I was when I started, right? A lot of young guys that have this goal. They want to leave their jobs that they don't like, whatever. Again, there's nothing wrong with working your job, but if you don't like your job, if you are looking for a different path, then you need this mindset, I think. So I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. I'm sure a lot of people contact you too, Dan, where they're like, hey, Dan, I want to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Looking for the magic bullet.
Yeah.
And what I say to people over and over, like, there is no magic bullet. Go do it.
Yeah.
Like, here, you want to start buying real estate. Don't worry about your 10th property because you don't own any. Like, let's focus on getting one.
Yeah.
And then you're going to learn how to manage that one, and then you're going to buy another one. And that's how you're going to learn to be a good investor. So because I keep seeing the same story over and over again, I'm like, okay, let's get this message out there that I'm consistently saying. Let's, a lot of people are obviously out there having the same problem, right? Now, you shared some stuff with me, right, about like people DMing you on Instagram or whatever. Like, they want the result, but sometimes they don't want the process.
Well, I'm sure you probably see it more than I do. To be quite honest. And the reason why is, like, it's actually your job.
Yeah.
Like, literally your job. You focus on investors. It's literally your job is selling real estate to, you know, more. I would venture a guess that you get contacted more by hopeful investors rather than existing.
Yeah, beginner.
Exactly.
A lot of beginners. Yeah, you're right.
And so I'm sure the story is, well, I want to get X amount of properties, and and they don't even have one.
Yeah.
Right.
Over and over again. It's like, what's your goal, right? And my goal is to buy 10 properties in the next 5 years. And it's like, okay, well, do you have any experience? Do you have any knowledge? Do you have any access to capital? How realistic is that goal? And usually it's not realistic at all. Now, it's possible, but it's not realistic. And I always break that down to, okay, I love having the big vision, right? 10 properties, 50 properties, whatever it is, that's awesome. What do we do today? Where do you start, right? How much capital do you have? What are the opportunities available to you right now? Let's go to work on that. And as you gain skill in business, in real estate, or in any other venture, you're going to get better at it. Yeah. You're not going to be a great hockey player or basketball player by watching YouTube videos. Like, you got to get on the ice, you got to get on the court. You got to go play against the best and raise your game up over time. Yeah. You can't skip these steps, is kind of my point. Yeah. So, man, but
So let's get into why we keep on skirting the actual intro. Like, tell people, like, how you got here, but like why you got here and where you started from.
Well, I started from reading books, like
not real estate. Yeah. Go back, even back, like when you were working at customs, all that stuff.
Yeah, I went to university. I wanted to be a police officer. That was that was the ultimate for me.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I got a job as a customs officer at the Ambassador Bridge, which was to me a stepping stone into policing. I was there for 10 or 11 years, and the whole time I had this gnawing inside of me, like I'm capable of more than this, right? Like I want to buy real estate. I want to have financial freedom was my goal, right? I don't want to have to work for 40 years. I'll probably still work, but I don't want to have to work or whatever you want to call it. So I had this gnawing inside me, but I stayed put for 10 years. And I was reading, I was thinking, but just not doing anything. And then I moved to Ottawa for a few years thinking that would change my life. I had a new scene, new friends, get away from this city, whatever. But it was the same thing, right? You bring yourself wherever you are. So that gnawing was still inside me. And, working for the government, it's a very boxed in job. You don't have a lot of mental freedom. You're just kind of in a way, a robotic employee, right? And I just had this thing, like I'm a smart guy, like I could do more. Like we all have our own intelligence or skills. I need to be putting my personal talents to work, right? And there's even a story in the Bible about that, right? The parable of the talents, where people just bury their talents, and it's just wrong, and you feel that. So I fought with that for a long time, and then I said, okay, I'm doing it. I started getting my real estate license. I quit the course halfway through because I had those doubts come up. Yeah. I had those, well, is this the right path? I don't really want to be a real estate agent. Like, it's not realistic. Like, the goals are too hard. I can't do it, all that stuff. And then, 6 months later, that gnawing came back up, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. Got my real estate license, and then immediately bought a property, and all that fear was there. And then it's like, okay, then you get it renovated, you get a tenant, and you're like, oh, okay, like this isn't rocket science. Okay, like I got to buy another one. And then you buy another one. It's like, oh, wow. And then you start to get good at it, right? The books didn't really help me.
No.
They actually help you zero in a way. You need a certain baseline level of knowledge, right? Like, how does the game work? But once you have that very basic level of knowledge, that's it. Nobody else can get you there. So now I understand the game, right? Like, how many properties do you own, right?
I don't even know.
Oh, it's over 100. I'm pretty sure.
It's a couple hundred for sure. Like over, like doors.
Doors are probably whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm approaching 300.
300, like that's insane. I'm at 11, right?
Yeah.
So not that I'm some big shot, but this is 11 in 2.5 or 3 years, pretty much. So I'm at a pretty good pace, but I'm starting to get to the point where I have confidence now. I can go in and like spot a deal. I don't need to overthink. I know what's right for me. That's another thing too. There's no one size fits all investing for anybody, right? There's no one size fits all the way to start business. Like, your style of business is very unique. No business book would tell you to do how you do things, right?
Yeah. I don't know what style that actually is.
There is no, there's no box.
I'm just saying, like, people I've heard this before, where people say your style is like so unorthodox for business, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Nobody's ever really been able to tell me what it is, but they think it's odd. And you know what it is? The only thing that I can attribute it to is, like, I stay in my lane, and I don't concern myself with other people. Like, that's it. Like, I am not the guy that needs to I don't need to peacock with people. I like wearing sweatshirts and t-shirts. I don't.
No, I remember coming to the walkthrough of this building, and you're like some, I don't know, lawyers here, CEO or something like that. These contractors all here, and you come in a hoodie and a sweatpants. And I'm like, man, that's freaking cool, because you don't care, and actually nobody cares. Really. That's the funny thing.
Anyway. And what I even find even funnier is that people actually end up resonating with that more, because it breaks down barriers.
Like, he's just a regular dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's not, and they talk normal, and it's just exactly. Like, I've actually like broken down multiple barriers when that happens. Absolutely.
I believe it for sure. Yeah. And I mean, some people get caught up in this thing of trying to appeal to everybody. Yeah. And when you try to appeal to everybody, you lose yourself, because you're not everybody. You are who you are. And I got this from one of my mentors, on my group there, AW4U, is Paul Germany. So he's like, one of the top agents in Canada. And I would always ask him, like, what's your secret to success? Like, what I was getting my license and joining with him. And he kept saying to me, like, he doesn't really have a secret. Like, there is no one way. Nobody coached him. Nobody taught him. He didn't read a book. And he just kept saying to me, like, just work hard and care about people. Like, do a good job for people and work your ass off, basically. And I just kept saying, no, like, there's a secret you're not telling me, Paul, and I'm going to find it, And as I started working with him more and more, I just saw, like, he works harder than anybody. And he has more success. He doesn't have to, right? He could take time off. He's in the office every day working everybody, and he genuinely cares about his clients at a level that you can't fake. Like, he genuinely cares about getting top dollar for them, or getting them a great deal, or right, if something doesn't work out, he feels it at night. He doesn't sleep well, right? Like, so if you can combine that hard work, the work ethic with caring and passion, the sky's the limit, right? But you can't put that to work in your box, right? In your job, right? You have to step out of that if you want to start going down that path. It's not easy though, right?
No.
Like, people see the results, right? They see your cars, the Lambo, the this, the that, whatever, but you work harder than anybody that I've seen as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the equation.
Yeah. And that's becoming the variable these days, because everybody's educated. Everybody, it seems like everybody's even like, it seems like if you don't even have a master's degree anymore, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up, like, if you had a degree, that was the baseline.
That was the baseline.
That was the baseline.
You're in.
So now it's, if you don't even have a master's, like, forget it.
Don't even talk to us.
Yeah.
It's too competitive.
Depending on what industry, obviously, right? You know, some industries you don't need that, but
they're pushing for it more and more, right? Higher and higher levels of education. So
exactly, yeah. So at the end of the day,
hard work is the variable.
it really is.
Yeah.
It truly, truly is. And I actually see that most in employees at the nutritional company, because the people that I
Promote?
how could I not think of that? I couldn't even think of that word. The people
Need
that
more education?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a dropout. The people that I promote are the hardest working, because for the most part, we're all capable of learning, right? So if you show the ability to learn and the ability to, want to learn, and you're a hard worker. I have stepped people up into management positions literally after 6 months.
Yeah. Not the smartest necessarily. Not that they're dumb or anything.
Because I'm not either.
They don't have any special knowledge about anything in particular, but they stand out to you because they work hard.
Yep.
Right?
They work hard. They're loyal, and I can depend on them.
Well, yeah.
Dependability is a big one.
So those are the variables. Now, so people that are watching this, if you want the level of success that you're looking for, like, take those qualities, right?
And I also attribute, so I find those qualities are my strengths as well. So naturally, I gravitate towards people that share the same qualities that I see in myself, or that other people have told me they see in me, right?
That's a good point too.
So
you're gonna attract people
that probably is the majority of successful business owners. They'll share these similar qualities, because you can't get there without them.
I agree.
Right? So if you emulate those qualities as an employee, you'll probably go places in the company, and especially today. A lot, like, look at Google. Google's actually putting their own qualifications in place. They're not even looking at schooling anymore. So what the does that tell you?
Yeah, that's the way the world's going.
Think about it.
Yeah, they're a progressive company.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the way the world's going.
And in that sense, progressive in the right way, I feel. Other ways, that's questionable. But in that sense, I think that's the right answer, because you're probably going to pull the best talent, and you're not going to weed out the best talent by not having a piece of paper.
100%,
right?
Yeah.
So
you're weeding out. Yeah, you can be an educated idiot. You can be an educated lazy person.
Yeah, and even the problem with sometimes education is you become indoctrinated into thinking a certain way that could potentially hold you back,
or hold the company that you're working for
exactly.
back.
Yeah.
Or hold yourself back in business because you think that there's a box that everything needs to fit in.
Exactly.
When in reality, I think we can both attest to that.